taarifa zetu zijazo. Kwingineko mtazamaji, bado tukirejea katika kule bungeni ni kwamba waziri wa elimu Julius Migos Ogamba ametangaza kuwa matokeo ya tathmini ya kitaifa ya KPSEA na KJSEA yatatangazwa mwezi Desemba, huku matokeo ya mtihani wa kidato cha 4 KCSE yakitangazwa mwezi Januari mwakani. Ogamba ameyasema hayo mbele ya kamati ya bunge la kitaifa kuhusu elimu kwenye kikao kinachoendelea kwa hivi sasa, na tuvuke mbashara tufuatilie.
396 sub-counties. If you can basically divide that, it comes to almost, is it 100,000 or 10,000? Almost 100,000, exactly. If I can do an average figure. And you are lasting them for how many days? About a week. Since the time they are doing the invigilation, the supervision, not the invigilation, what do you call it? The rehearsal and all the rest. So you see, I think they have a point, especially on that particular issue of fueling and logistics. Yes.
I agree with you, Chairman. The cure to this is only one. That the funding for exams should not be based on a grant. It should be based on a capitation. You see, even this 5.9 that we got, it is not a capitation. We do not base it on how many candidates do we have, and therefore, how many papers do we need to print, how many examiners do we need. It is based on a grant system. So if we change that principle and say, for example, the number of centers where we are administering KPSEA, the highest is 32,000. Then the budgeting process should also be based on how many centers do you have, how many containers do you have, therefore how much money do you need. But when you use a grant system, it is based on, I don't know what it's based on. It is just a figure. We are giving you this much, go and administer exams. So if we change that principle at the budgeting point.
Chair, maybe the CEO can tell this committee the decision whether it's a grant or capitation. Is it a decision by Parliament or by the ministry? If it's by the ministry, I think he should be addressing the statement to the CS who sit next to him.
You're out of order. The CS has officers, competent officers with him, and he has just rightfully assigned that particular question to the officer. So the fact that the CS is here doesn't mean that he's going to answer all the questions. The administrative officer in charge of
Chair, you've totally misunderstood what I said.
Yes.
You've totally missed what I said.
I have not totally missed that.
No, you've missed it, because what I said,
yes.
I asked, is raising a very valid statement that examination is funded under grant formula instead of capitation. I was wondering, is that decision whether exam is funded through grant or capitation format done by this House or by the ministry? Where did that originate? If it is through the House, then it's right for him to raise the complaint here. If it's through the ministry, then we should be expecting them to give us what they've, because it's not the first time he has raised that issue. It's not the first time I'm hearing the CEO of the Exam Council raising that issue. If it is a matter within the ministry, it is the CS who should tell us what decisions they are making.
How they arrived at the grant,
yes,
instead of the other.
That's what I'm saying.
That's okay, yeah.
Chair, on the same, I just wanted to seek further clarification. How is the grant determined? How is it administered? Is it a certain percentage? How do you decide how much to go to which center? It's never changed. But now as you distribute it.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Let me just quickly respond to those concerns. Chair, what's happening is we are in the process of reforming the sector. We are undertaking the highest or the largest reforms in the education sector. And what we are doing with our teams and technical officers is to interrogate what has been going on, whether it is really working for us in terms of what is the scientific basis of the decisions that have been made before, the policies that have been made, so that during this reforms period, all of us can reform, can amend, can change the things that do not work to introduce the ones that work. For example, from September of this year, we decided to just do a verification exercise of how many students do we have in the country. How many schools do we have? Of these students, how many do we have in grade 1? How many do we have in grade 2? How many are male? How many are female? So that going forward, you are able to budget and plan properly. Because if I have grade 9 today, there are 1,030,000 doing examinations. I should know in grade 12, in 3 years, that is the number I will have. So it would be possible for me to plan 3 years ahead. Now, if I do not have that number, when I do the budget and I bring it here, or I take it to Treasury, Treasury can decide, you don't know the exact number, so this is the figure we are going to give you. Now, there is a policy that if it is senior school, a student gets 22,000 per child. If it is junior school, 15,000. If it's primary, 1,500. So if I present a budget and tell you, this is the number of students I have, and this is the rate, what would be your scientific basis of slashing that budget? There won't be. It will be unconstitutional. So what we are saying is interrogate, get our numbers right, confirm that each and every person in the country, parliament, treasury, the executive, they know that this is the position, so that we make these decisions based on scientific evidence. So if, for example, this question of the exams is a constitutional requirement that exams shall be taken by government, it is there in the Act, the 2016 Act. What would be the basis of anybody, anywhere,
Na mtazamaji, ni kikao cha kamati ya bunge kuhusiana na elimu, ambapo waziri wa elimu Migos Ogamba yuko mbele ya kamati hiyo, ikiwa ni pamoja na afisa mkuu mtendaji wa baraza la mitihani nchini David Jengere, bado pia yuko mbele ya kamati hiyo, na masuala ni mengi ambayo yameendelea kujitokeza, haswa kutokana na pia utaratibu, mwongozo pamoja na kutekelezwa kwa marekebisho katika sekta ya elimu ambayo yanaendelea kutekelezwa. Na tumemsikia waziri wa elimu pale akisema kwamba marekebisho ambayo yanaendelea kutekelezwa katika sekta ya elimu, yale ambayo yataonekana yanaendelea kuzaa matunda yataendelea kutekelezwa, na yale ambayo yataonekana hayafai hayataendelea kutekelezwa. Akisema kwamba mabadiliko ni mengi, ikizingatiwa pia ni pamoja na kukagua ili kuwa na hesabu kamili ya wanafunzi, haswa wale wanaofanya mitihani ama tathmini katika gredi ya 6 pamoja na gredi ya 9. Na amegusia kwamba ikizingatiwa kwamba wanafunzi wanaofanya mtihani ama tathmini ya gredi ya 9 ambao unaendelea kwa hivi sasa ni wale wanafunzi waasisi wa mtaala wa umilisi wa CBE, ndio pia watakuwa wanafunzi wa kwanza kufanya mtihani ama tathmini ya kitaifa ya gredi ya 12. Kwa hivyo ili kuwa na utaratibu pamoja na kuweka bajeti ambayo itasaidia katika kushinikiza na kuweka na kukidhi mahitaji yao, kuna umuhimu wa kuwa na hesabu kamili ya hao wanafunzi. Na pia ameweza kutaja kwamba matokeo ya tathmini ya KPSEA na KJSEA itatolewa mwezi Desemba, na matokeo ya mtihani wa kitaifa wa kidato cha 4 KCSE yatatolewa Januari mwakani. Ni kwenye kikao ambacho kinaendelea mbele ya kamati ya bunge kuhusu elimu. Mwanahabari wetu atakuwa anafuatilia kikao hicho na kutuandalia taarifa kamili hapo baadaye. Kwingineko mtazamaji, familia moja kutoka eneo bunge la Bahati, kaunti ya Nakuru, inaiomba serikali